Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Big Time Auto Racing, Episode 4. Ace Speedway was just a couple days ago. We had very different outcomes for the nights, and I'm sure a few of you guys want to hear the whole story on everything that has transpired over the last couple days. You had a great run, great qualifying effort at a track that you probably didn't have very high expectations going into. I mean, the way you talked about it, I was like, and you qualified, I was like, what the hell, man? And I was on the other end of that. We struggled, had motor issues and stuff, but we'll get into all that. To start off with, we want to talk about our track ratings. We do that every week. We have the current scores right now. The leaderboard, I should say. P1 right now is Florence at a 7.7 overall score. P2 Southern National 6.5, and P3 Hickory with a 6.4. And today we're going to rate Ace. And starting off with, we have facilities and conditions. That's right?
Configuration
of the racetrack. Configuration. And for me, I'm gonna go a 6. I think it's cool. I like the idea of a heavy braking track with a lot of, there's a lot of grip. That's what keeps it from going much higher than me. And I would almost say 5, but the reason I'm giving it a 6 is because I like the idea of doing something like you feel like you're kind of racing Martinsville or something. I've never got to race Martinsville. I've raced it on iRacing and stuff. It was cool to see I've never been much of a corner over driver, I'm not, I'm kind of on the opposite side of things. I like to save my stuff getting in, hard off. And Ace for me was a struggle to not overdrive the corner, which was really different for me. And we struggled with that in practice a lot. Finally got it to where I was hitting the line at least via race trace, but a 6 I feel like it's pretty accurate for me. What about you? What'd you end up with?
Yeah, well, kind of touching on what you said there, a lot of guys will go, I say a lot, I know a handful of people, will go to Ace to shake their car down.
Oh, yeah.
Month of Martinsville or before or whatever, just because it is a very heavy braking racetrack, and then, hard back into the throttle, corner off, center off. So, I think it's cool in the fact, turn 2 out of 2, wall comes to you pretty quick. It's kind of a pretty cookie cutter, type deal, nothing too special. But out of 4, the wall actually kind of goes away from you, and then at the flag stand comes back to you.
It's weird. Yeah, the wall thing, I wasn't real happy. I didn't like the wall thing because that took a while to get used to. But for guys that race there a lot, it's super unique and cool. And I understand why Trevor Ward's fast as shit there, and Dylon Ward, they race there all the time. And they know every nook and cranny of the track. And I think that has a big place in late model racing. So I'm okay with some weirdness to the racetrack. Yeah. It's definitely it's a weird racetrack, and it's easy to hit the fence there if you're not careful.
It is.
So what'd you end up with?
So mine, it's probably a little bit biased too, because as I told you, Ace is the first place I ever turned laps at in a full body car. I was 14. So mine's an 8, just because I even though
that's
like I said,
that's fair,
even though I've struggled there, I like how it is unique, and so like as you said, it can be frustrating, but then I think too that uniqueness does make it sometimes fun to really get out there and get after it.
Next up, we got Signal. We try to rate the phone signal across all tracks.
Yeah, this is going to be a sensitive one for me.
This one's weird, because this week it was Verizon dominant.
Yeah.
And I have Verizon, and it's a rarity these days.
I was trying to show you race traces and having to text them to you because I couldn't pull them up. Yeah.
I will say once Flo got there and took over the Signal, things went downhill fast for me.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
I could not watch any of the race trace stuff or any of the any broadcast stuff later in the evening. So it was working on a 9 throughout the day, but it subsided to about a 7 for me, and I'm sure it's even lower for you.
Mine would probably be about a 6.
Yeah.
Because I actually left that off here because I forgot about it, but yeah, it would be a 6 because as me and you just touched on, I could not pull up anything. So and normally you're like, man,
well, dude, I'd be lower than that if I was you. If you couldn't pull up anything.
Well, I say that. Like me, I could pull up about half of a race trace, and then it's like Signal would get blocked. So that's why I am.
You could look at Twitter or something if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't like a dead zone.
Yeah. All right. But. So fair enough. Concessions. Did you eat anything this week? This is honestly kind of a bad thing for us to rate because we very rarely eat racetrack food. But I almost would rate it more on the actual condition of the of the concession stand / how many people you seen in line.
That's
all
right.
That good stuff.
Well, and for me, so I guess again, mine it may not pertain as much to this, but I have ate out of it before, and then like I said, my wife did get some stuff this weekend. Some of the crew guys, so. And I don't know if they still do, but I know at one time, because that's one of the things I had from there, Ace used to have Chick-fil-A sandwiches at their concession stands.
That's a big deal.
Pizza. So like I said, I know my wife got some hot dogs this weekend. She said they were really good. So I gave the concessions an 8 because, I mean, they do have quite a bit over there, and it is normally busy.
Yeah. None of my guys got any food. And I did not even remotely try. I didn't really get to go around it too much, so I can't give it an accurate score, but I'm going to give it a 6 for the benefit of the doubt. And that's because Shelby said that Shelby, his wife, said that it's had good hot dogs. So that's cool. I like a good dog. I probably should have got one. I need to start. I can't eat on race day, man. Like it's tough. I struggle with it because I don't want to eat too much. I don't want to eat too little. Yeah. And I get like too hungry to eat almost, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because then you don't want to be stuffing them. We're getting in 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, so 6.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I knew that. I couldn't remember.
Up next, facilities and shitters. This is a very popular score. Usually, or I think people want to hear about this one, right? To see how the bathrooms are, the facilities, and although the bathroom wasn't that nice, it wasn't a very private bathroom, but it was way better than a lot. I loved the tech shed and stuff. I thought that it was cool that the tech shed was covered. There was room to get your tires mounted out of the sunlight underneath some shade. The conditions as far as getting like into tech are kind of tight.
It's a little tight.
I mean, like all that's a little tough, but I mean, it's a small racetrack, so what do you expect? And then, for facilities and the shitters, I'm actually going to give it a 7. Even though the bathrooms weren't that great, they were always stocked with paper towels. There wasn't never any toilet paper everywhere, no clogged toilets or nothing like that. You can work with what you got as far as bathrooms, and they do a pretty good job with it.
Yeah.
I ended up with a 7 there.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be an 8 because, like you said, so the bathroom bring it down a little bit for me. I do know, like as me and you've talked about, I didn't have to partake in this, but I'm pretty sure they also struggle in the department of the old D-loop, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
So for a latch for a situation.
Yeah.
So might have to use the old driver suit trick, throwing the old.
Yeah, that's tough. I didn't go check it out. Luckily, I didn't have to go this time. I was able to make stuff happen at the hotel.
And it's a little tight in there, but like I said, hey, at least they've got them.
The trough's pretty narrow. Not a lot of room for multiple urinators at the trough. It's a pretty square trough too. It's a rectangular shaped trough that seems like a lot of the piece stays stagnant. So
they but like, man, you know what I love, like when you turn in as a sign. Yeah. I mean it's a very appealing, yards cut. Everything looks good.
They got a lot of grass to mow.
Yeah.
They got a lot of grass to mow.
And so like you said, they've got a VIP suite there outside of turn 4.
Neat place.
And as you said, the turners, that is one thing. They work very, very hard. Robert and Jason work extremely hard. They're always having
He's
that
a really
place.
nice guy. Talk to everybody.
Comes around, takes their
stuff.
Yep.
And he was in there. He was the one in there changing the rolls of paper towels and stuff I seen one time when I went to the bathroom. So that's cool to see him hands on, being involved, trying to make sure they have a good show and also a good time. So I feel that's a pretty fair rating. We're on track to be real high right now.
We are.
And you would be, and that's pretty surprising, being that I'm rating it.
City and nightlife.
Yeah, city and nightlife up next. So a lot of cool stuff in that area. We actually stayed in Burlington, and it's right off the interstate. There's tons of places in that area. There's a lot of cigar shops in that area, which was a big deal. Our hotel was really nice. It was a Best Western, but it had this awesome patio, had a pool, had all that good stuff. So the area was really cool. There was tons of food in the area. Wasn't a problem to find gas or anything like that. So I ended up giving the city and nightlife, I'm going to give it a 7 as well.
Okay.
Probably could go higher, but I don't want to falsify the rating too much.
Yeah, so mine actually, we're going to be the same on that. My city and nightlife is 7. I, of course, didn't stay. I went to the house. It's not too far from the house for us.
I mean, you're kind of in that general Greensboro-Winston area. I mean, you can drive 30, 40 minutes from the track and you're in Winston. So, like, even when we left, Allie was like, damn, we're already in Winston. I'm like, yeah, it's not that far away. It's like a good area. So it's a great place to have a racetrack for sure.
Yeah, but like you said, you got Alamance Crossing right there.
Yeah.
Normally, when we go there with the guys. Like if we leave on Thursday evening or something, we may go out there and eat and whatnot. So I gave it a 7 as well for City of Nightlife. But like I said, I forgot about the old signal there. That was my bad. So I'm not sure if my overall score is going to be right or not. I might have to redo the math on that.
Yeah,
but
well,
got yours here. So
that's what we're doing. We're redoing the math right now. All right. So final after the quick math we didn't even have to use a calculator, did we?
No, we didn't.
Quick math. Final score for Ace Speedway is a 7.0, which puts Ace Speedway as your new P2 on the leaderboard. Damn, Florence is high. 7.7. That's pretty high, isn't it?
We had a good time though.
Yeah,
and
Florence
it was
a great
it was straight
time.
up.
It was legit. That's on the stand for a while.
Yeah.
7.7. Because I thought Ace was really high for me. I felt like, and it ended up in second. So
yeah.
P2 Ace Speedway. That's pretty cool for the year. We go back there, our rating adjustment will be made.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be lower ratings, higher ratings, who knows? So they could pick up, they could fall down. So,
Just like we go back to Hickory, folks.
yeah,
so.
Same thing. Hickory could jump the leaderboard a little bit. So we'll see. Anyway, 7.0, not a bad rating at all for Ace Speedway.
No.
But most importantly, there was a race to race to, and you had a pretty eventful weekend. I guess I talked first last weekend, so let's hear your rundown, man. How'd the whole race weekend go? Practice, qualifying, race, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I know me and you kept giving me hell about it a little bit because anybody who has followed me on the tour, or really just my racing career in general, I have struggled at Ace. Normally can be pretty good in practice, but when it comes time to get after it and qualifying when it really counts, I just always I don't have a good qualifying effort.
Yeah.
And get us back in the junk. So Lee and all the boys brought a great piece. We unloaded on Thursday, and I think we were top 10 in first practice, and then I think by the time the session ended, because that's the hour-long session, I think we were like P12.
Mm-hmm.
Felt really good about the car, though. Got it driving good, above the apron. So then we started wanting to try to kind of work on balance for the apron for the race, so you could try to turn under people. And
yeah, I guess explain to the people a little bit about that apron transition for those that haven't been there.
Yeah, so I kind of made Dylon aware of this. In 1 and 2, folks, there's concrete down there below
And a jersey barrier inside wall.
So
you run out of room, similar to like Florence or something.
Absolutely. And so, you want to be on the bottom in 1 and 2 for sure, and so some guys will run left sides down there. I've seen guys run the whole car down there.
Yeah.
I've seen guys run above it, but obviously, just like anywhere else we go, apron de-wedges the car and gives you turn. So there is an art to it.
Yeah.
And you really try to get it down there and get it turned, but get off of it as quick as you can so that when you go back to the throttle, it doesn't over-rotate and get a good launch off of 2. And then 3 and 4 is where it starts to get kind of tricky. It's a very wide corner. You hang it out there all the way at the gate and turn in sharp. And, same thing. I've ran that above it, all 4 below it.
Yeah.
Really, you're just trying to position yourself. There's a bump coming out of 4 right when you start coming out of the transition that kind of dictates the entire exit.
Yeah.
And how you get through that bump, really does control the lap. So I played around with it a little bit all weekend, and we finally kind of honed in on what we thought was best and consistent. And so mocked up at the end of the day on Thursday. I think we were P4 or P5. Came into Friday practice and just worked on race trim and was able to run some 70s, which we felt like was pretty sporty. Yeah. And then come time for qualifying, and I'll be honest, I knew the car was there, but I'll just be, I figured I would fall into the realm of my old ways and find a way to throw away a good one, and I actually did on the white. I messed up and didn't think I was going to be able to gain as much as I did on our money lap. But ended up running a 37, which was good enough for fourth.
Yeah, real good, yeah.
So,
no doubt. I mean, when Dad, he was explaining last night that, like, he kind of gives me feedback when I'm waiting. Like, when I went out 29th, he gives me, like, times as far as, people that I'm familiar with, obviously. Like you, Landon, Deke.
Yeah.
People that, like, similarly I'm usually around, right, in practice or the race.
Right.
So I can kind of know, where we're going to be at. And, it was when I heard him say, Brandon ran a 37, and I said, God damn, I'm just trying to go ahead and run a 50 to make the show or whatever. What the hell? I thought he was, I expected like 48 or what, be like out 10th or something.
Yeah.
I mean, not in a bad way, but you know what I mean. Like it's hard to qualify in the car store. So yeah, that was a a beautiful lap from you. So, but then you had a race coming up.
We did. So fired off for the race, and same thing there. You kind of try to fight pretty quick to get to the bottom and get in line.
What do you think? If you gave it? We don't have this as an actual rating, but what would you give the raceability rating for the racetrack?
0 to 10?
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably. Man,
because mine's weird. I would say if you have a really good car, it's super raceable. That's kind of applicable to every track.
Yeah.
But this track is very particular about that.
I agree. So perfect. I think you put a good, some good key points on that there. So I think a fair score, keeping all that in mind, I'd say about a 7.
Yeah.
Just because I went back and rewatched the race. I think me and you both, that's one thing me and you share in common, regardless of how our weekends go. Normally I'll go back and watch it just to see. Yeah. I take notes. I really do. I sit down with the old pen and pad and say, hey, I felt like I did this good, didn't do this good, need to be better here, there, so on and so forth. But I made some hay on the top and got in line having to be on the top. So it really and truly there, no different than quite a few places, but it's, imperative at Ace. Yeah. You just have to beat that guy out of the corner and hold him tight. You ain't got to screw him, but, you got to hold him tight so that you can put all the power down on exit and he can't. Yeah. And as long as you do that and get her straight, you'll be able to get down. So
yeah. So pretty raceable track. I don't get to give it a rating, but just by watching it looked very frustrating. So I was expecting more around the 4 or 5 area. But that's just, it looks like Martinsville, man. Like, Martinsville's a fun-ass track to race, but is it that raceable? I don't know. You kind of have to screw people to pass them, right? Yeah. And if you have to screw someone to pass them, I don't consider that very raceable. Now, that's not really the case with Ace, but it is a little bit. You can use that apron. Yeah. You can use the bump if you want to. You can try to get somebody on the bump if you want to. 1 and 2 is not nearly as racy as 3 and 4, I don't think. But you can kick some ass off of 2 if you're really good off of 2. I did notice that.
Yeah, I guess I would say it's not a multi-groove racetrack as far as you're not. Well, I can't even say that, man, because I watched the pro race and I watched guys do it. I was going to say you're not going to run side by side. Yeah, it's tough.
Weird. It's a weird track. It's a cool track to go watch a race at. Or if you guys didn't get a chance to watch the Flow broadcast, it was a really good one and it was a very exciting night. We'll get into all the full moon antics later, but before we do that, I don't want to take up your time on how your race went. So how did you started 4th?
Started 4th.
Pretty excited.
Yeah.
Ready to, my best start of the year. Probably your best qualifying effort in several races, right?
It's my best qualifying effort in 2 years on the tour. Last time I qualified top 5 was I set outside pole at Tri-County in 2021.
Yeah. Damn.
So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, Tyrell, he won the race that night. He qualified on pole. I qualified outside pole. But, yeah, so felt pretty amped up, man, because, like I said, I knew I had a good – I think – again, not to get too off track here, but I'm sure you can relate to this. It's a good feeling as a driver when you feel like you got it driving good in practice. Yeah. And then you also have the speed. Yeah. And there's not a lot of times I feel like that happens, especially depending on the racetrack, because sometimes you're like, I'm not afraid sometimes it sucks, but to give up speed to have drivability in my car. Right. I want to be able to move my car around, but to make passes. But this weekend, I was fortunate enough to have the best of both worlds. And so we fired off there and knew pretty quick. Literally 20 laps into the first run there, Lee's like, "Hey, bud, proud of you, everything tonight, but we don't have anything for this 8 car. Yeah. So, but you're good enough to run second. We have a top 4 car, so let's just protect it here." Because I had gotten about a 5 to 6 car length gap out back early on there in that first run, and felt like we were pretty even with the 15 of Millington and the 77 of Connor. So just kind of started settling in there and trying to see where I felt like we may be better or where they were better than us. I felt like I was better out of turn 4 than both of them, and I felt like they were a little better than me out of 2, but I could keep pace with them. So we settled in there and had a restart. We stayed there the first 75-ish laps of the race, and had a restart where finally we did have to take the top. We elected early to just either be front row or take 5th. Right. It was the strategy we took as far as the cone deal. Yeah. If the front row was open, I was going to go outside pole or outside front row, and then otherwise we were just going to try to hang on to the bottom. So we got punted on a restart. just in my opinion, and I think that does go back to what you were saying about kind of having a screw guy. I mean, it's a track where there is a lot of beating and banging.
Right.
But it was definitely early enough. I still in the race that particular person could have definitely rode the brakes a little bit and settled in line because that's what we were all doing.
Car store, it's give it all the time, no matter what.
Yeah. So that got us shuffled out. We did get back in line, but then the toe got knocked out, and so I kind of had to hold on from there. So we ended up 10th. Was disappointing in the fact that wasn't the kind of race car we had, but I think everybody knows that. It was good. I was proud of my guys in our group. We did turn some heads this weekend. Mm-hmm. It was a very good, a good punch in the sail for us, uplifting run to have. Right. We've struggled this year. Me and you've talked about it, and I don't think either one of us have had up to this point necessarily the runs we would like to have had. But I was able to load up and leave Ace Speedway. Proud of myself, proud of my guys, proud of the car.
Man, you can't hate on that.
Man. And I like I told you, I loaded my stuff up with dents in both doors and a little crinkle in the front bumper. And when you can do that at Ace Speedway, it was a good night.
Yeah, no doubt. We said that before we went there on this show a couple weeks ago. We said if we'd come home unscathed or Wilkesboro, we'll be pretty damn happy.
Yeah.
And you did that and got a top 10 and probably put yourself top 10 in points.
Yeah, we came in 9th. There were some guys who had some good runs, so I'm not quite sure where. I think the easy math I did on it, I think one or two from behind me may have got by me, and then one in front of us may have fell back. So I'm not sure we'll gain or lose anything. We may still be 9th, but
owner's points or driver's points.
Yeah, that's a good point. So driver's points, what I'm looking at. So I couldn't tell you about owners.
That's all I looked at too.
Yeah. So
I forgot about owner's point. I didn't know we needed that in late model stock racing.
Yeah,
but we do.
Yep.
So P10, man, it's a good run. Starting P4, finishing P10, tough ass racetrack, super tough field, another full field, sent cars home. I was one of them. That's something to hang your hat on for sure, especially going into Wilkesboro. So
yeah, well, and like I said,
it's cool to see.
I think for me too, it's even a little more when you go to a place that you struggle at, that no matter what you've tried, you normally just you get your ass kicked there.
Right.
And we didn't this time. We didn't have the finish we wanted, or that I felt like definitely to how good our car was.
Yeah.
But we ran up front more than 3/4 of the race. Like I said, we were a contender, and in this deal, that's all you can ask for.
Right. Yeah, it was a good day. My weekend wasn't near as successful. We had, all right. Well, let's just start from the beginning. It was my first time at the track. It was my I raced there in 2014 in a limited and ran about 10 laps and got ran over under caution. Had to park it, so I didn't really get to race much. And it was on old scuffs. But anyway, this time we didn't get to go test. We couldn't get off work. We just couldn't put the stuff together to be able to go test. So we knew we had to figure things out fast on Thursday, even though it's a hornet's nest of cars tour practice.
Yeah.
Especially there, because a couple of the guys, some of the same ones that are the problem every single week in practice are. I got dive bombed from 3 cars back in practice because he was on a sticker run, and I was just out there on a 20-lap run or whatever, kind of hanging out, and got literally, I got a car inside out of nowhere, center of the corner. And I was like, what the hell? I'm like, where did he come from? But it is what it is. Same people every damn week. I'm not gonna sit here and fuss about it. But wasn't fast at all in practice. I tried everything. I went from, we changed bar, we changed springs, we changed bump springs, we changed wedge, we changed everything. And I didn't really have the feedback to tell them. All right, well, my first practice, I was just off online. I didn't know what, I was not holding it out to the wall fast enough. Not to make excuses, but I feel like it's a pretty easy place to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really know I needed to be right against the gate in the damn corner and holding it way out there. Like Martinsville, I feel like I don't have, now I haven't been there in real life, but on iRacing or something, in comparison, I feel like if you hold it out too long, you get too free in at Martinsville.
Yep.
And there I was like, well, I don't want to hold it out and arc it too much. I want to be able to get down on the block. Kind of like Southern National maybe, right? But, I just couldn't figure it out for the first practice. Second practice, I figured out the line a little bit better thanks to the race trace. Really, that's the only thing that got me where I needed to be. And then third practice, I thought the line was better. We was kind of bottom of the charts each one, but we had to run the LCQ at Hickory, so we weren't able to buy practice tires. So I was on my 20-lap dulled practice tire or
LCQ tires.
tires
Yeah.
from Hickory. So
They weren't fresh by any means.
they were not 20 lappers. They were more like 40 lappers from
yeah.
the start because I was going in the LCQ. But yeah, I just we didn't have the tires we needed. Not really an excuse because it made sense by the end of all this, and I'll get to that. But yeah, just couldn't figure it out, man. I was missing a 10th all day. Like I would go out there, run a low flat or a high 90, and just be like, God dang, man, if I could just run an 85. I feel like a driver can make up that 10th because I'm new here. I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Well, pulled in from so that was our plan on Friday. Friday practice, we were going to change brakes and go see brakes in, but we didn't have time to do it because I needed to find speed. So we went out there, made changes again, tried to find some grip off because I was just sliding tires to the wall. I felt like I just couldn't figure out what I was missing. As I was on my 5th lap, I seen my oil pressure light blink going into 3. Pulled in the next lap, shut it off, and I was like, I don't know why that came on. They came to the car like, well, we'll drain the oil. Maybe it's just got a little hot on you or something, or the brake heat, or what? Who knows what the hell? I didn't really know what they was going to diagnose, but they drained the oil, and there was about 2 quarts left in it, and that is not enough.
No.
What that means is it was burning oil out the exhaust. Then Blake Harris, the photographer, came and confirmed my suspicions that he was taking tracks outside of turn 2, and there was puffs of smoke coming out my exhaust on throttle pickup every time. We noticed at Hickory during testing before we raced Hickory a couple weeks ago that I was burning really black, and I'm like, well, weather's changing a little bit. Maybe the jet's a little off. Running a little rich or whatever. It's okay. We can deal with it. Didn't ever get any worse, but obviously what was happening was the motor was laying down on us even beginning at Hickory.
Yeah.
Which is starting to make sense because handling was great there. I just couldn't, and watching the race trace, the ghost overlay stuff, the comparison that you guys probably seen on Car Store social media, actually, the difference between me and the pole. It felt like a lot of the places I got beat was dead center of the straightaway. And I feel like that's an easy accusation to make, and everybody probably does, but it was not blatant at Hickory, but it was blatantly obvious at Ace here. And we didn't know really what to do. I didn't want to blow up, obviously. I knew that we were risking that, but we're not going to not qualify. We're going to at least give it a shot. So we got there to qualify. I have a shitty first lap. I hit the apron in 1 and 2 with the left rear, like you said not to do. Got loose. Second lap, my line was good. I don't think I picked the gas up early enough off of 4 because the sun was right in my eyes, and I
was bad.
Wasn't very familiar with the track, and I overlooked it. I didn't really think about pickup points while I was practicing. I really didn't. I was just kind of going by feel, and I didn't think about visually looking at stuff. And now I know that if we ever qualify 8 down my clock at night again, we'll or 7. Was it 7:10 we qualified?
I think you figure by the time I think you hit the racetrack, it was probably 7:20, 7:30ish.
Yeah, probably
and
7:30.
but like I said, you weren't the only one because you went out 29th.
Everybody struggled
Yeah, you
with
went
it,
out
right.
29th. I went out 22nd, and it was bad.
Yeah,
Butterbean, I think, was right there with you, and he said, "Man, I couldn't see."
Yeah, it was a little sketchy, but anyway, ran a. What did we run? A 60?
You're in a 67, I think.
Yeah,
I don't have my
67.
phone, but
And
I'm
that
pretty sure you're
put
in
us
67.
30th. And an interesting little tidbit, little fact here is that 1st to 30th in qualifying in Cup at Martinsville. Isn't that where that statistic that Dad found was?
Yep.
At Martinsville a few weeks ago was about half a second.
Yep.
About a half a second difference from 1st to 30th in the NASCAR Cup Series. In the Cars Tour from 1st to 30th at Ace Speedway, it was a quarter of a second.
I think it was like, what,
Basically
.273?
Yeah, it's like essentially a quarter of a second.
Yeah.
Was the difference from 1st and 30th. So essentially, the field is about twice as tight as the Cup Series. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Anyway, so we didn't make the show on time, and I guess that's kind of where the confusion for a lot of people started. And I know, like, even the broadcast, they were a little confused of why I wasn't in the race with the Torn 12 provisional and all that stuff. Basically, to dumb it down, it just worked out, unfortunately for us, to where the owner's points took precedence over the Torn 12 provisional. And I I understand it. Like it made sense. We were behind them in owners points. Do I think owners points needs to be in late model racing? Absolutely not. I don't think with as many cars as we have, I think it takes away, especially, and of course I'm going to say that right because it kicked me out of the race. But here, let me plead my case a little bit. Like the part that sucks, in my opinion, is the numbers slapping on the door and getting owners points when it's not the same organization, driver, team, nothing. Absolutely nothing to do with them. They get paid money to slap the number, and I don't blame the driver. Like, you know, the wards had to do it, and I don't, like, I understand why they did it, and it's not, and I would take full advantage of it if I was in that position, just like the numbers they had on and themselves they did. But it does kind of suck. For people that race all year that are kind of hovering in that like 20th place, like people like me and Cameron Bolin, and you know, that are trying to make the fields right now. Like, we're learning, we're young, we're rookies, like we're trying to, you know, Carson Brown, like all of them are kind of in the same echelon as me right now, and it screwed us for sure, and it sucks. It screwed Grady. It was it's just part of it. It's in the rule book. You know, I can't argue it. There's no argument to be made. Does it suck? Yes. At the end of the day, it's hard to out-qualify car store cars when you're down 50 horsepower or whatever we are.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I just, you know, we confirmed our suspicions yesterday when we unloaded the car, pulled the motor out, and looked inside, and
You told me it was not good.
it is not good. It is lucky we made it through. We may have ended up looking like Jacob Hefner or something, which, you know, hopefully I'm sure they've got a different motor, but it was a scary little fiery wreck for him, and like I said, we'll get into more of that. So, yeah, we didn't make the show. It sucks. Took it on the chin. I took it really hard. I was irritated, probably a little irritable, and you know, it just sucks, man. I've never missed a late model stock race, right? I mean, it's something that I worried about going into it because I hadn't been to that track and knew that the field was full, and I knew it was a gripped up track, something totally different for me. Did not know about the motor issues, but I think if we didn't have the motor issues, we'd have been in pretty good shape. We'd have been in the field for sure. And
well, I think so too, man. It's like I told you, if you look at it, you know, as you said, you were 30th, knowing you were way down and you needed to be 28th.
Right.
So I think, you know, it's
it was tough. And even though we out qualified the car that got in, that's just how it works with owners points. And now, what I think, if owners points was out the window, there would have been a lot different scenario. And I don't even know if that would have made us make the race, but I just hated the confusion and the controversy surrounding the owners points / Tour and 12 deal. And I'm sure they're going to get it way more cut and dry now. And like and there was no like hard feelings. Like I got to speak with Jack and Keeley about everything, and they explained to me what was going on and what the scenario was and why we wouldn't be in or if we might be in. But they were, at the end of the day, they made the call, and you know, it was probably the right one because that's what the rule book says, even though I think it should be changed in the future. But at the end of the day, that's part of it. We need to be faster. In general, I was hoping, I knew he was down on motor. My dad, nobody told me, tried to not tell me that I was going to be down, but I kind of had a good feeling what was happening. And I guess that's just a mindset thing. They didn't want to tell me that, so I wasn't worried about it and try to do something different. But it is what it is, man. It's just part of it. It's a hard series. I hate, you know, I remember thinking on the way home, I was like, God dang, I don't even need to be doing a damn, if I can't make the race, then why am I doing a podcast talking about the damn show? You know, so it's tough. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do shows and talk about the race and tell you guys everything I know as honestly and bluntly as I can. And that's why we're going to continue grinding. And, you know, it was hard, but take it on the chin. We might be in the other situation one day where we need the owner's points, or we have the owner's points, and I had a bad qualifying run or whatever, which I'm sure is the same thing that happened to whomever it helped. And, you know, it's just part of it. So I'm not an excuse maker, but the engine deal obviously was a problem for us, and we didn't get it fixed in time. We don't have the budget to have a spare motor with us or anything. Probably wouldn't have had time to do it anyway, but it was a tough day for me, but it was a cool racetrack, and hopefully it teaches me something in the future to know, like, hey man, if handling feels good and you're burning kind of black, probably something you should look into.
Yeah.
But we don't turn the motor much. We keep it around 7,000 to 6,900. That way I can make it last longer, so we don't have to rebuild it so much. Just to keep budget in mind, and it's something that I've never really had to worry about in my career. But we're putting a lot of laps on these motors now. Every race I've ran the last 2 years has been long, big races and hot races, and probably turn the motor 7,200 more often than we usually do, right, in qualifying like everybody does. So it's not a surprise. It wasn't a shock to us. We knew we was going to try to get through Wilkesboro and rebuild it for Tri-County, but we had to do it. We had to do it now. So we're going to be in good shape. We have a motor for Wilkesboro. We're going to be obviously racing. We're in Wilkesboro. That was part of the controversy, right? That's what I didn't say.
I was pretty animated.
That's what I didn't say as far as the controversy, because Wilkesboro is, the main event essentially for the year. That's the one everybody cares. That's obviously the one that means the most to me. And everybody knows that. We're going to talk a ton about Wilkesboro the next 30 minutes, but the controversy was if I use a provisional here, I won't be locked in Wilkesboro. Especially if I get locked in here, or if I use a provisional here and go blow up with my hurt motor on lap 10, what if it puts me outside the top 26?
Right.
It ended up working out not mattering anyway, because we're still inside the top 26, even though we didn't make the race and didn't use a provisional. So it worked out. We're all good. We're in Wilkesboro. It sucked to not make the race. It was embarrassing. I wanted to punch a wall. Didn't. Kept my cool. We unloaded the car first thing damn Saturday morning, got the motor out. Everybody's still grinding. I felt bad for my crew. You feel like you let them down. It's hard. I mean, you've got to experience it, I guess, at Martinsville, getting sent home, and you feel like you just, obviously that's even bigger states, 80 damn cars. It's harder to make the race. But at the end of the day, going home's going home. So
yeah, it's the same feeling.
It's tough, man. You feel like, God dang, if I could just redo that last lap, just do this a little bit different, I could have got that a little better. But man, it's so close, and we're gonna move on. We've worked very hard all year, and that ain't stopping. We might not go out there and win every race, but we damn sure ain't gonna quit any of them. So going forward, I learned a lot from that. I've missed a race now, so now I, whatever. If we miss a race, we miss a race. I'm all about finding that speed and trying to have a good time, go out there and finish good in the race. So that's how my weekend went. Wasn't ideal. Got 1 point, I guess, but at the end of the day, we're in Wilkesboro. We got a clean race car, and we got a motor getting rebuilt, and all the crew guys are still happy and behind me and with me every step of the way, and I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. So looking forward to the next one, I guess. But now we can talk about all the action that happened that didn't necessarily involve us, but we got to watch, and there was a lot of damn action. It was a full moon.
Yeah, it was.
You got a front row seat for some of it, right? Well, I guess it was behind you.
It was. Both of them were.
Well, it started off, the first big one that happened was, the first explosive one was Jacob Hefner blew up going into one, and just a fireball erupted.
I think it was going into 3.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
oh, well.
which and the reason I say that, and I wouldn't correct you, is I think it saved him a race car.
Really?
Because when you talk 3 so much wider.
I just was judging by the camera, and it just looked like a camera that would be in turn 1 for whatever. But I was driving home, so I was like just glancing at my phone when my wife was holding it. But yeah, it just
basically, folks, if you haven't gotten the chance to see it, I'm pretty sure it's like I'm probably not going to use the right vocabulary for this, but if you're on Flo's Twitter feed or go to their Twitter page, when you would click on the little link for highlights, it is the main photo. And the whole car is pretty much erupted in a fireball. Yeah, it's the thumbnail. It was a fireball, and that goes to prove why you always wear gloves. Obviously a fire suit, but don't ever skip out on gloves. If you're a young racer and you're listening to this show, don't ever try to be the cool guy and go out there and race without gloves on or nothing like that. It's not going to end well.
Jacob Hefner would probably be burn up a little bit if he wouldn't have had the right stuff on. So glad to see Jacob was okay. It was a scary race. He kept it off the wall, so props to him for that. They saved the race car. Probably got a couple black marks on the firewall or something, but looks like the car did its job as far as not catching fire any worse. Looks like the crew got to him pretty quick. I
believe, if I recall, Jacob said on the broadcast they thought the flywheel
Flywheel
cut it. And
really?
Yeah, because I was like, man, that was pretty big.
Yeah, it was an explosion for sure. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, it was. I'm sure everybody's seen it. But that was the first. That was dwarfed by what happened next. Not many laps later, Chase Burrow, the 8 car, and Ryan Wilson, who potentially has the worst luck in the history of Cars Tour right now, going through the year. I mean, it's been a damn. He was changing fuel. He was changing engines
Friday morning.
Mm-hmm. He had to get to the track early and change engines. So, and then the last couple of races, he had a lot of other stuff go on. So I try to act like I had a bad day. Ryan has had a tough year. So
yeah,
and he's always fast. It's just a matter of getting some good luck. But anyway, they got together going into one, and I don't know whose fault it was. You couldn't really see the how it started. But anyway, they made contact getting into one, and Chase jumped like right at break point, basically. So like they were alone for the ride.
Yep.
And I'm sure y'all seen it, but Ryan knocked the shit out of the wall. And Chase didn't really take that hard of an impact compared to Ryan because he kind of hit up on top of him. Ryan's left side of his race car took a lot of hit just because of Chase's car jumped up on top of him and kind of sandwiched him.
It absolutely sheared it.
It was a scary wreck. I'm very glad Ryan's okay, especially after seeing the carnage afterwards. Did not look good, and I feel bad for a killed race car. So obviously, I'm pulling like hell for Ryan Wilson for the end of the year, for the rest of the year. Just hoping he catches some lucky breaks. That was some of the craziest shit I've seen in a late model stock car as far as the damage went.
Yeah, like I told you. So for me, we came around and Spotter was like, "Hey, bud, just stop right here. Real bad wreck. We got one upside down." And I'm like, "Holy hell, do what?"
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean we got one upside down?
Yeah.
And sure enough, because as you said, it happened kind of mid-pack getting into one, so we were coming back around. So we literally all just stop on the front stretch, and so we're all looking right there at it.
Yeah.
And at the time, Ryan's car is about burning to the ground. I mean, it was on fire.
Oh, yeah.
But I couldn't tell that's who it was.
Yeah.
The
whole door was gone.
Yeah, the whole left side was sheared. So, but I could tell what looked like I thought was Chase upside down. And so I think for me as a racer, unlike you, it's not fun to be upside down regardless.
I wonder if Ryan would donate a door for the Neon Shack at Wilkesboro for a race. For the weekend.
He might.
He's got some now after that because it's sheared like you said. There was no body left on the left side. It's crazy.
But
yeah, Chase flipped. I forgot to even tell you that. When they hit the wall, he kind of just tumbled. It wasn't a very violent flip, thank God. But he did tumble over, and Ryan got out almost immediately, which was a feat on its own.
Yeah.
Ryan got out immediately and went over there to help Chase, so big sportsmanship award to him. There was some more shit that went on though. I think Chase's crew might have thought that Ryan was trying to fight him while he was upside down.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That really was.
They went out there and started raising hell. So I don't know what all happened there. I wasn't at the track at that point. I was on 40 watching it on Flow. But yeah, it was a scary scene and some pretty shitty antics were involved. So it was a scary situation, so I'm sure there's a lot of emotions involved, so I'm not going to speak on it until all the facts are out there, but I'm sure everybody's seen it. Like, it was on video, everybody knows what happened. So.
Yeah, the main thing is as far as what I can say is thank goodness that Ryan and Chase, obviously, for again not trying to make any accusations here, but obviously their safety equipment did the job on both of them, especially on Ryan's car.
Yeah.
As far as his safety stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, on a little more of a personal level for me, Ryan's somebody that's been a friend of mine for a while, and is actually arguably a partial reason why I'm involved in racing. His family and my family were involved in the Dash series together.
Yeah.
So like I said, I've known Ryan for a long time, so when I was told the news that's who it was, of course, it hit home at me for a little bit. So was glad at the time I'm sitting there. I didn't know he was already out, actually, when I saw the car was on fire. So that was the first thing I asked is he out?
Yeah.
So very, very scary wreck. I think both of us in our time have seen a lot of torn up race cars.
It was scary enough that Flo turned away from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, they locked on your car or something.
Yeah.
That wreck was done with and they were getting out and stuff.
I can honestly say I've never seen one that bad.
Yeah.
So
it was torn. It was very torn up. So
very fortunate to see Ryan and Chase walk away on their own power, and I got to talk to Ryan at the end of the night. because his car was actually in the infield over there right by our trailer. So he was in.
I've got Ryan a case of neon or one of these of neon lager ready for him to hopefully help the soreness, because that. I would give one a chase too for flipping, but he's a little young yet still, I think. I don't think he's 21 yet, is he?
He is not, I don't think.
So, yeah, that was a scary deal, but it's part of racing. We understand those risks, that stuff like that can happen, but thank God that late model racing has advanced enough, not only safety equipment-wise, but car-wise and everything, to where that wreck, Ryan got out really fast, Chase was okay, and they were, they got to go home, hang out with their family at the end of the day. So it's always good to. That's the good news out of it, I should say.
Yeah, nobody was hurt, and same thing like we spoke on about Jacob, because when I went back and seen how big that fireball was, I mean, he was very lucky as well. So very glad that all of us were able to go home to our families after Friday night, because there was some unfortunate and scary incidents that took place.
Full moon night, man.
Yeah,
The big old
it definitely
full
was a full moon.
And Friday night.
Full moon on Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, we had tacos. We made tacos for our race day meal. That was cool. I think a few of our compadres came over there and had some stuff. I think Boo went over and had him some tacos. Yeah, I'm glad to see that.
I was too anxious to eat. I was offered by your wonderful mother, but I
had one little one.
I could not have it. So.
I only had one little one. It was before qualifying, and I'm already
Although
balls.
I did, from good Steve Drummond, I did have, as I told you today, you're actually like, really? That's quite the pairing, but it was good, man. I hadn't had an applesauce cup in 5 or 6 years. Had pork chops, applesauce, broccoli, and some stuff. It was
that
good.
Sounds good.
It's a good old meal.
I had a pretty interesting hotel experience. Like I said, it was a nice hotel. We went out, there's a restaurant attached to it. It was pretty, kind of a more upscale.
Like Grill 584 or something, right?
Yeah, it's a little more upscale, sort of. It has a martini bar. Not necessarily a martini guy, but they had like 30 different martini flavors. I'm like, all right, well, we're going to try these. So me and Donald, we dove into the martini try out, and we had the first one I had was lime juice and like mint or something. It was some, I don't know. But it was good. It was good.
Sounds pretty refreshing.
I had a couple of them. They were refreshing, light. Donald thought they were shots. He would take them like shots. I'm like, Donald, this is a martini. You're supposed to sip it. And he said, I ain't doing that shit. And then he just take it like a shot.
Yeah.
But he's a man. He's a fish when it comes to drinking. So that guys can put them down. But anyway, at that restaurant where we were enjoying martinis and steak, it was a drunk old guy so this fella is probably close to 80, I would imagine.
Oh, wow.
Close to, definitely late 70s. We're talking, silver fox, a little hunched over, slow moving, he's an older fella, real nice guy. But
out on the Thirsty Thursday?
We were waiting in line we were just waiting to sit down. And he came stumbling through there and like ran right into the wall and back. And I thought like, oh my gosh, something. There's a health condition here or something, and I tried to help him out. Like, oh, here you go, man. Just come this way. Because his wife walked out wide open, and she had a cooler with her. And I was like, oh, maybe some kind of medicine? I don't know. Got a spare heart in there? I don't know. Well, turns out I asked the waiter why they had a cooler. Let me just get. First of all, he ended up running to the door, and Larry, our motorman, had to help him out, get him outside. Larry helped him to the car and everything. So Larry got the Good Karma Award for the day. But he was shit faced. He was polluted, drunker than hell. And we sat down and we're like, "Did you serve that old guy?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's Bob. He comes in here every Thursday." And I was like, "Why do you have a cooler? What's in the cooler? They bring their own beer or something? Or does he have a certain bourbon he drinks?" And he's like, No. They just like our ice. They fill the ice up and take it home. Use that ice for his liquor drinks when he gets home." I'm like, damn. That's cool as shit. And it wasn't even cool ice, really. It's just standard ice.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. And, yeah, that's what they did. And he said that, I was like, well, what did he drink? He said he had 3 neat Woodford Reserves, and that's what he drinks every time. He's the same way every time he leaves here. I'm like, well, he acted like it was a rarity. Because he hit the wall. He said, "Oh, I need to be more careful. I usually have a couple drinks, but I don't know. Something hit me hard. I don't know if I mixed my medicine wrong or whatever." And I told the waiter that, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, no, he's like that every time. He just gets shit-faced, and his wife drives him and gets pissed off." So, anyway, shout out, Bob. Hope your head feels better. The restaurant was good. Food was good. I ate a steak, and we had some good appetizers and stuff. There's a cigar place. There's a cigar outlet not far from there, the JR outlet. I got me some factory smokes. Have plenty of cigars for the next couple of weeks. So
Stocked for Wilkesboro.
Stocked for Wilkesboro now. Although we put a hurting on them last night, we're already down. We're down 4. We're down 4 night 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was an interesting experience. I like the Burlington area. It's pretty busy. It's comparable to like Mooresville, honestly. It's a very busy road right there.
Yeah.
But
that, especially right there at JR. I mean, as you know, I'm a big Canes fan, me and my wife. So we go when we're going to games right through there. I mean, that dictates the trip by 5 minutes or 25 minutes. I mean, it's a very busy area.
It is, and I would when we go back to Ace, I would like to stay in that same hotel, go to that same restaurant. 'Cause it was a good experience, and I wish I would have took a picture of Bob, because Bob was God dang, I know he had a headache the next day. We were wondering if he would be. So there's a golf course right there. I think it's the country club.
Yeah, over there on the right.
Alamance Country Club or something, I guess.
Very nice entrance.
I'd assume that's probably where they drove back to. Just kind of had that look to him, and he probably slept on a damn front porch or something because he was hurting. That's for sure. He's probably still hurting. But yeah,
he better get rested up. Thursday's coming quick.
Yeah, Thursday's coming quick. He's gonna be right back at 584 again, having some neat Woodford reserves, baby.
Taking home ice.
That's right, and filling that ice cooler up. So. Shout out, Bob.
That's something though. I could see it if you told me it was like the old cookout ice or Sonic ice, the little small cube ice.
No, it wasn't that. It was pretty standard ice. I mean, it was like a little funky shaped, cool ice, I guess. It has kind of an insert in it.
Oh, okay,
that style ice.
Just an ice man, huh?
Cylinder shaped ice with like a hole in the middle. It was kind of cool, but nothing I would, like he could have bought him an ice machine. He didn't look like he was hurting, especially his car and stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
His head was hurting.
Interesting guy. His head hurts like hell. So if anybody in the Burlington area knows a fella named Bob that drinks Woodford Reserves neat on Thursday nights at 584, ask him how he's doing, because that son of a bitch is hurting the other day. Going forward, we have a pretty small race coming up this next one. It's nothing really. I mean, I don't know if we can really dedicate a show to it, but it's North Wilkesboro. It's an old track up in the area. We're gonna race there. There's gonna have quite a few cars for it.
Yeah,
I'm just shitting y'all. Yeah, craziest, biggest race of the year. I mean, 38 cars. Is that what they're starting? 36, 38.
Well, by mine and your math at this point. From some of the announcements the last couple of days, it's got to be every bit of it around
just in the last couple of days, they have officially announced Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, obviously Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Chase Briscoe. Who have they announced that I'm missing? There's another one, I think. I think there's one that hasn't been announced that we know of that I guess we can't say, but I don't know. There's a lot of Cup guys. You'll get your money's worth if you come watch that race.
Well, there'd be 2.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember now. We talked about it last night. But yeah, there is a couple
So what
more.
is that though? We just said 6, 5?
Yeah.
5 or 6?
5 or 6. So, I mean, and then not to mention there is some late model standouts and then obviously 26 plus Cars Tour regulars. Probably 28 to 30 Cars Tour regulars, I would imagine. So, hell of a damn year. A lot of damn cars. It's going to be really cool. The sheer event is going to be crazy. I mean, the damn All-Star race is at the same track the NASCAR All-Star race is at the same track we're racing at 4 days later. I mean, in what world does that make, would you have ever expected that, right? I mean, that's a crazy thing. So, a lot of big festivities. I know everybody knows my whole Wilkesboro story thing, and even you have some pretty deep roots in at least close by, and then not, so we're gonna do a show at Two Boroughs. This is breaking news, everyone. We're doing a live event. I don't want to call it a meet and greet, but we're gonna do. You can come in there. You can buy some of this neon lager. My face is on a beer can. Let me just. Let's get that on in listeners, there. If you're listening, I'm sorry, but if you're on YouTube, new beer cans, neon lager by Two Boroughs Brewery is now available. Really neat deal. I mean, obviously,
a really good looking can.
Do I deserve a beer? Absolutely not. But do I have one? You damn right. And we're going to drink it. And the cans came out really good. Taste is great. Dude, usually I'm a draft guy, but these cans are unbelievable.
Very smooth.
Like, I recommend getting cans. Like, just if you go to Two Burrows, ask for a can of Neon Lager, and I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed because it's really good beer. Cool little shelf piece too if you collect special edition cans and stuff.
Jacob,
it's a car store car.
Jacob, I've got one coming your way, buddy. So.
Yeah, it's a car store car on a beer can. And even it don't matter who's driving it. There's plenty of people I don't like in the car store, but if their damn beer is on the can, I'm gonna drink or I'm gonna buy it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And I hopefully I can get some Neon Lagers handed out to some of the guys that we get to talk to a lot in the car store and stuff. But there's actually two. Dale Jr. has a Sundrop can with the car store car on. There's two car store cars. Yeah, two car store cars out there. Probably more. Maybe Kevin can do something with Bush one day. That'd be neat because I mean his car says Bush on it, right?
Yeah,
somewhere I'm sure. So so it's pretty neat. We're gonna do, but Monday, the 15th.
Yep, Monday, May
15th. We are going to go to Two Burrows Brewery at 6 o'clock. I think is when we're going to probably get started. 6-7ish. Last year we did a live broadcast show. I don't think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to do a recorded thing and upload it to YouTube later. That way the stress level's a lot lower for me and I can like hang out and not have to sit there and make sure the connection's good the whole time and blah blah blah, because believe it or not, I don't really have the equipment to do that. Even though we do this all the time, it's not exactly a mobile setup, but we are going to take some mics, talk a little bit, video some stuff, hang out with friends and fans and family and all that good stuff. It's Monday, so people are already in the area. It's going to be busy. So if you want to come get some Neon Lager, get there at 6 o'clock. And I can guarantee you you can get some Neon Lager then.
Yep.
We're not going to sell out. We've got plenty, but, just to make things easier, that way we have time. We might be able to do some stuff outside as far as this show because it's, smaller buildings, older buildings, so I don't know what kind of room we're going to have. We'll kind of make that up on the fly, but still going to be a big day for the both of us. And we're going to have some other friends out there for sure. I'm going to try to get like Boo and Landon and some of those guys involved, and we're about to go film a little promotional video that's going to be really cool. But yeah, big event, May the 15th, Monday, 6 p.m., Two Burrows Brewery in downtown Wilkesboro. You guys can go there or come there, hang out with me and Brandon. We're going to sell shirts. We're going to have hero cards. I'm going to have hats, brand new Wilkesboro hats for this season. And the first time you're going to be able to buy the Neon Lager Fast Charged Cold Beer shirt that I have. So we'll have a lot of stuff available. I'm sure you'll have shirts and hats and stuff available too.
I'll have shirts, hats, folks. As Dylan said, hero cards. Going to have some koozies as well.
Yep.
So come on out. Be a great time. It's a cool spot. As Dylan said, it's already going to be busy. Mm-hmm. The talk of the town it's been that way for, I guess, 4 or 5 months now.
It was busy last night.
Yeah, it was. We were up there last night, and it was busy.
Night. And that was just Neon Lager. I mean, it wasn't even a party. It was available.
I think there was a cruise in because we saw quite the spectacle of some hot rods.
Yeah, a lot of cruisers and old hot rods, like you said, and stuff. So, man, it's a cool little area. Even if you're not a beer drinker, it is a family environment.
Absolutely.
You can bring your kids. If you've got a young kid that wants to hang out with some race car drivers, don't worry. We might have a beer in our hand, but it's not a big party environment or anything like that. No worries on that. But we do have a good time if you are looking for a good time. So come hang out with us, man. It'll be fun. We'll have beer for sale, and they have great pizza, unbelievable pizza to eat.
Man,
you can
buffalo chicken is
and it's awesome to go to. You can eat half of it. Pretty good size little plate you get of pizza. You need about half of it, fill you up for dinner, eat the rest when you get home, and you're about 8 beers in. So that's usually what I do. So, a lot of big things coming. Now, that's just the events leading up. Also, we have some go-kart racing going on at the go-kart track. We're going to be camping. We're going to be filming a lot of content. We're going to be drinking a lot of beer, probably. But most importantly,
I'm going to be drinking a lot of this.
Yeah, a lot of Gator Light and Pedialyte and getting IVs. I'm going to get an IV Monday to tune myself up.
If I can get off, I'm coming to join you.
Yeah, you can do it right before you go on the show if you want to.
Yeah, gosh. Gonna need it.
Tuesday, we go practice. It's a long day Tuesday, I think. We practice for a pretty good time, but then they race that night, right?
The ASA Super Races Tuesday night.
Super race.
I think the pros are with us Wednesday.
Oh, pros do race with us. So
I'm
just
pretty
supers?
sure.
Okay. At one point, I think they had.
I'm
something
pretty sure
backwards.
the ASA National race is Tuesday night.
Perfect. That'd be cool. So Tuesday we get to practice, which won't be near as nerve-wracking as last year. Because last year, never been on the track. I was emotional as shit. I couldn't see because my eyes were watering until I was crying, pulling out on the racetrack and stuff. So this year, it'll be like, all right, I'm going to try to find some speed.
I had tears for a different reason. I was trying to go out and get load numbers, and it was starting to rain.
Yeah. Yeah. It started to rain on me, too. So it was, first time on racetrack for me at Wilkesboro. It was pouring the rain. So that was interesting. But hopefully this year the weather's nice and clear. We get a clear day, God willing, and it'll be a fun time, man.
I would prefer to not qualify at 1:15 in the morning.
Ideally, we don't qualify at 1:15 a.m. Do we qualify Wednesday or Tuesday?
That's a good question, my friend.
I don't remember.
I would tell you if
it's Tuesday.
Is it?
Nah.
I think it's Wednesday. I think
I guess it'd probably
it would make more
Wednesday.
sense if the pros are with us because we would. Yeah, because we draw.
I will say I did like qualify. Now not at 1 a.m., but if it was at like 11 or 10.
Well, it was supposed to have been at like 8.
Yeah, but the damn racing took forever, right?
No, it was still the track was still wet.
That's right.
I mean,
It had
remember
to
we
dry
had
up and all that.
there was an absolute monsoon pisser
Yeah.
that came through there. It did some raining that day.
Well, anyways, whenever we qualify. Anyway, it'll just be a good time. Obviously, Tuesday night, not going to be a lot going on. We're going to be chilling and probably,
I'm going home Tuesday night.
Probably a good idea. I'm going to be chilling, taking it easy. I will probably come on the podcast next time and say, all right, I didn't take it easy Tuesday night, but
There's a reason why I'm doing that, folks, and I love this guy to death.
He's going as far away from me as possible Tuesday night. It's probably a good idea.
Wednesday night, I will be there. We will be there for the weekend as
Wednesday
well.
night, we're staying up all night.
Yep.
That's
We will be
the
there
plan.
for the weekend
I did it
events.
last year. Not even 3 sheets to the wind. Just it was.
No,
I
just
watched
casual.
the sunrise.
Yeah.
Man, it was cool. We raced Wilkesboro, hung out at the shack, and watched the just kind of watched the sunrise. Hung out with friends, talked about everything that happened. Just ran the race. So I'm sure it'll be the same scenario this year. No matter the outcome or whatever. If I'm walking out of that racetrack, we're gonna drink beer and have a good time afterwards. So.
Yeah, well, I think too. It's like I talk. Obviously, folks, mine and Dylan's friendship has progressed quite a bit here. We've known each other for a couple years, but really become really good friends here over the last year and a half. But it's cool to be friends with Dylan and all the history that his family has here, and it was really cool with me as a friend of his at that time, but also as another competitor, knowing the prestige of this event for him and to see him take it all in and just it was a cool moment as your buddy to see you experience that and take it all in, because I know how overwhelmed I was. I mean, like I said, me and you actually were talking about it last night.
Yeah.
We were pulling race cars out, folks, at like 5:30 in the afternoon. Race still wasn't going to start for a couple hours.
Right.
We had an autograph session coming up, and there was already 25,000 people there at 5:30 in the afternoon. It was incredible.
Unbelievable. It was. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I have some pretty cool pieces coming out. I did some stuff with Dylon with Flo, and that I think is going to be really cool, and hopefully something that stays on airwaves forever. So one day my kids get to see that. Like,
Absolutely,
I got
man.
to see this place when it got
Absolutely.
rebuilt. I was I walked. I did not go in the racetrack on purpose until that. I haven't been inside of North Wilkesboro since we went and got my trailer the day after. Wednesday, on Thursday after we raced in August last year. So it was a whole different look for me. It still has that nostalgic feel, but it's definitely modernized. The infield most importantly, but it needed it. I mean, it needed some updates. It's been laying dormant for 30 years or whatever. So much needed, but looks a little different. So it's a whole. If you went last year, don't think you don't need to come this year. It's a whole different experience this year, and I think that's one you want to take in. Not a better one, not a worse one, but another one, a different one, a different experience. You need to be able to take it in both ways. If you got to go last year, and I'm sure some are going to be like, tickets are too high, the traffic will be too bad, I don't want to go this year. It's not worth. I got to see it last year. Well, I think that's the wrong attitude to have. I've had people say that to me, and I'm like, I think you're wrong, man. I think you're going to miss out if you don't go this year. So. Anyone listening that's on the fence, I hope you change your mind and go to the race, because it's worth it. There's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be hard to park. You're going to be frustrated in traffic. You're going to have to walk a little bit, and you're going to be real tight. sitting with somebody. But dude, I'm telling you,
It'll be worth every bit of it.
It'll be 1,000% worth it. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time. I'm super pumped for Wilkesboro. We'll keep y'all up to date on everything. But I think that just about covers everything for us, man. I think. I mean, do you have, I guess, any expectations or goals, or are you just gonna go have a good time at Wilkesboro?
Man, I didn't feel like last year for a little bit different reason, but that like my dad and kind of my family side thing, like you said, having some ties, obviously nowhere near the with yours and your family, but that they got to enjoy it. And I think it was kind of that way for all of us because it was very hectic. It was just a lot going on. It was. A lot crammed into 48 hours.
Me and you need to get content together and probably be together at the track more so we can have like a more experience and see what each other's feeling at certain times. Yeah. Last year I felt like a lot of the moments that were like super special for me, I would like turn around and like no one was there. I'm like, damn, I wish I could like tell them to like, look at this. I was right here 10 years ago as a kid playing with cars or 20 years, whatever it was. And so there's a lot of those moments that I can't wait to share. But I'm the same way. Goals wise, man, I don't have any finishing results, goals, anything like that. I'd like to finish on the lead lap. I think that's a goal. I didn't last year, so it was by circumstance, but we didn't last year, and I would love to do that. And I would obviously like to finish really good. If I won the race, you'd probably never see me race again. So I don't know if that's the greatest thing because I'll probably retire right there. Yeah, park it in the Wilkes Hall of Fame. But no crazy goals. Just man, want to go out there and finish the race, finish on the lead lap, have a good time, trade a little paint, make some moves, pass some cars. That's my goal. I think that's a track that sets up good for me to pass race cars at. So absolutely, that's one that I definitely have. That's
I mean, I think for me, obviously both of us know. We kind of touched on it here a few minutes ago. Obviously, we've got some bigger names coming to play this year with Dale, and he's coming back again. But man, the way I look at it is, and I think there's quite a few others that do is. They're just another racer. They're coming to race with us. It's 100%. Awesome that they're doing that, but we're all running for a championship. And, last year I had a top 10, so as far as my goals, I'd love to back that up, especially now that we had a solid run at Ace this past weekend. I'd love to kind of keep that momentum going. So if I could go to Wilkesboro this year and back that up or be a couple spots better, obviously you go to win, but, just trying to keep expectations reasonable. So go in there, have a good showing, have a good night, finish on the lead lap. But just I would say, obviously once
I don't think I'll be as nervous this year. Do you?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think this year,
I think some of the Cup drivers will be more.
Last year, I ain't afraid to say to the good old World Wide Web right now, I was about scared shitless under pace laps.
Glad we got to do this again. Episode 4, we're cranking these things out. The next one will be after Wilkesboro as far as the normal style one, but we are going to post some stuff at the Two Bros show. So if you do want to come Monday the 15th to Two Bros to hang out with us, be a part of the podcast / get some merch, guys, whatever you want to do.
Come on,
Neon Lager.
Come on into town. Go to Crossroads on your hog. That's right. Ride on the old Harley, and then bring it on up to downtown Wilkesboro and come get you one of these.
That's right.
Awesome looking cans. Come support my guy. It's a great beer, smooth beer, goes down easy. Mm-hmm. It's 4.4%, very fitting. That's right. But very smooth beverage, not heavy. Great taste, and going to be good on a nice warm May day at Wilkesboro.
That's right. Appreciate you guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the show, be sure to tweet either one of us. We're always open to suggestions and feedback and all that. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other platform, be sure to give us a rating. 5 stars would be appreciated. Anything lower than that, you neat shit.
One thing I do need to get out there.
What's that?
So that because I feel like we didn't encounter it. My bird counter is up this week, folks.
Oh, bird counter.
So I gave 2 during the race.
Woo.
So I did. High. Yeah, I gave 2, and it's they're very quick because Ace is small straight race, but they were very the K1 Speed Blue Cars Touring 12 gloves were definitely very viewable when I did it.
That's good. I'm gonna get some neon orange ones so they can start seeing my birds better.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we appreciate y'all listening. Hope you hope to get to see you at Wilkesboro. If not Wilkesboro, we'll see you at Tri-County, Langley, or one of the other racetracks.
That's right.
Exciting stretch coming up. We'll see y'all next time.